High on Life is an upcoming first-person shooter game made by Justin Roiland, the co-creator of Rick and Morty. From what we've seen in trailers, the game features an alien sci-fi world with talking guns, and a similar style of humor to other Roiland projects like Rick and Morty, Solar Opposites, and Trover Saves the Universe. So with all of that said, here is everything you need to know about High on Life. High on Life is being developed by Squanch Games. Squanch Games, formerly known as Squanchtendo, was co-founded by Justin Roiland and Tanya, who had previously been an executive producer at Riot Games. Prior to High on Life, Squanch Games had a specific focus on creating games for VR, with their first game, Accounting, releasing in 2016. In 2019, they released a far bigger game with Trover Saves the Universe that received mixed to fairly positive reviews and currently sits at 76 on Metacritic for the PS4 version. High on Life is Squanch Games' latest project, with Justin Roiland himself taking a major role in the development of the game rather than just being a namesake. According to the Squanch Games FAQ, Roiland created the original concept and has taken part in the design and development. While prior games released by the studio had a heavy focus on VR, High on Life was created for good old 2D and will be a purely single-player experience with no multiplayer. Also of note, while the humor and visuals are similar to Rick and Morty, as Justin Roiland is highly involved, they are completely different universes and totally unrelated.
Selling humans as drugs. You're the only one that can stop them. You realize we're gonna have to take out the entire alien drug cartel.
High on Life sees you taking control of a character who's recently graduated from high school and has absolutely no dreams or ambitions in life until Earth is invaded by an alien cartel who want to get high on human beings, and sell them as drugs. Your character also stumbles upon a foul-mouthed talking gun, or Gatlian, named Kenny, and is also tasked with saving more Gatlians, who serve as your alternate weapons and can help you take down your foes. Early on, Kenny gives the character the ability to teleport their own house around space, which the player does seemingly unbeknownst to their sister, who happens to get transported against her will. Meanwhile, a legendary yet washed up and homeless bounty hunter, Gene, sees what's going on and tries to take advantage of the situation by crashing on the couch and, in exchange, setting up the Bounty 5000, so the player can find new bounties. Of course, he makes the deal sweeter for himself in that if the player dies, he gets to keep the house. All of this leads to your character becoming an intergalactic bounty hunter and chasing down the entire alien drug cartel to save humanity.
I can deflect attacks, did you know that? I'm not just all about stabbing. Well, I'm mostly all about stabbing and tethering, but I can also deflect attacks.
As High on Life sees your character becoming a bounty hunter, the gameplay lies in you choosing between various contracts and going off to, well, hunt them. There is a level of non-linearity here, as you don't have to follow a specific order with these bounties and can take them on in any order you like. Additionally, according to the developers, they've tried to incorporate light Metroidvania elements into the game, with more parts of each area you traverse being revisitable and more accessible as you gain more and more abilities. As far as the weapons go, each gun has 3 modes, with one always affecting traversal. Your gun will come with a primary and secondary fire, as well as an ability fire which can be used for combat, but also have an effect on how the player interacts with the level itself. In the case of Kenny, the first gun your character collects, his primary fire seems to be a standard mid-range gun, and his ability shot is his glob shot. While the glob shot can be used in combat, it also knocks down specific walls, allowing the player to access and traverse more areas. Not a gun, but another weapon we know a lot about at this point is Knifey. Knifey is a crude-mouthed knife who, of course, stabs. He seems to be regularly, if not always, placed in the player's alternate hand once you manage to find him. Like other weapons in the game, Knifey doesn't only stab, but can be used for traversal by tethering onto environments. Additionally, he can be used to deflect certain attacks. There's also Squeezy, who has a primary attack that embeds explosive crystals into your enemies, and whose secondary attack creates a time-slowing bubble. Meanwhile, Gus is voiced by JB Smoove of Curb Your Enthusiasm fame, and his primary fire is your standard shotgun fare. There's also a 4th yellow gun that I honestly don't know too much about yet. On top of all of this, your character has the ability to use melee finishers. Outside of combat, your player has the ability to upgrade various weapons and skills. This includes purchasing upgrades such as Dodge Unit, which allows characters to better dodge enemies with a dash. Other purchasable upgrades include a forward slide and both health and weapon upgrades. Muscle Implant, for example, is an implant that strengthens Kenny's primary shot, and Multi-Glob Mod is an augmentation that multiplies the amount of slime Kenny can generate for his glob shots. Not only is the game non-linear in allowing to choose the order of the bounties you tackle, but there's also plenty of side quests. There's also a large number of commercials players can watch on the game's various TVs, with added humor.
Look at the dinner's cold I prepared for us. Where were you? I was just doing smuffleguffins.
And B-movies the game licensed, which players can watch, are dubbed over Mystery Science Theater style. And speaking of the humor, this is a notably major element of the game. The dialogue includes both written and improvised lines, with the player's guns regularly offering commentary about what's happening and poking fun at gaming tropes. To add to the game's replayability, the dialogue you'll hear depends on the gun you have equipped, so you'll actually get different interactions depending on your gun. Many of the zones and characters were created with this humor in mind, including places like Little Cutie Town, a cute tiny village that you can obliterate Godzilla style, or Mac and Cheese Brothers Construction, with a bunch of tough union guys you have to decide how to deal with.
So don't embarrass me.
You think you could just walk up into a Mac and Cheese Brothers construction site like you're some sort of f***ing G? Whoa, you just killed my f***ing brother's Joey Mac and Cheese brother!
If you enjoy Justin Roiland's sense of humor and shows like Rick and Morty or Solar Opposites, it seems like you're in for a major treat with the writing in High on Life. And if not, it's likely the writing and humor won't be for you. High on Life releases to Xbox One, Xbox Series X/S, and PC on December 13, 2022, with the price of $60. It'll also be available on Xbox Game Pass on its release date. So, are you planning on picking up or playing High on Life, and what weapon is your favorite so far? Let us know in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.
All right, Douglas, here we come! That was the hardest part behind us. This is basically done. We finished this. We are fully out. Okay, what is this?